Howdy folks, Ian here at Reaper RC. Today you find us at the UK Scalar Nationals at Cracken Rock in Derby, Matlock kind of way. Bit of a last minute kind of decision, if I'm honest. Seen a few videos and pictures from friends that were here yesterday, because this is a full weekender, and I kind of spoke to Gummy Bear and the rest of the Reaper crew, and we were all like, bit of FOMO. Do you want to go to the Sunday? Yeah, why not? Why not? So without further ado, I'll show you the pit area, and then we'll crack on straight onto the trails. Let's go. This event is a perfect size, in all fairness. It's not too big, but it's well organised enough for it to make a damn good day. It feels nice and personal, which is good. RC bits have come for all your needs. I've already been drooling. Got a tiny 4x4. Not really the scale I'm into, but you've got to appreciate them for what they are. But this is what I've been drooling. Boom racer here.
Welcome. Yeah, one in here today. Got one there for
I'm coming around this way deliberately because I want the showpiece to come in last. Pink Bantha! Oi oi! Camel trophy. 130, I think that is. I don't think it's a 110, that's a 130. Beautiful though. Out here, series 3, I think. That's cool as hell. Them are quite cool. Certainly beats putting John Cena in the driver's seat, which everybody seems to be doing. Now, most of these are the scale over landing vehicles. We know these cars. We know this truck very much. This has been on the channel before. This is Dave's 130, and it's a beaut. .110 pickup. 90. Here it is. That's what you've been waiting for. It's the first time I've seen one as well. That is the BRX SLW 360s pickup. It's a fucking beaut. Excuse my language. It is a beaut. Now this rig needs its own special bit, because this is insane. This is one of Dave's scale overlander. Give him a look up on YouTube. He's a friend of the channel he's a friend of us, and some of his scale rigs are absolutely insane. That's insane detail. Insane. And this is another one of Dave's rigs. Now I don't know what this does, but apparently it's got a party piece. Dude.
yeah, it's adjustable wheelbase and stuff.
Oh, Dave, that's insane, mate. That is absolutely insane. That's, yeah, camping gear, that's cool. I don't know how you do it, mate. This is another one of Dave's rigs. As I said earlier, give him a look up, Scale Overlander. Is it Overlanding? I've always called it Overland.
Somebody else called me Overlander yesterday.
I always call it.
Your fault. My fault.
Your fault. Yeah. Correction. Scale Overlanding, and I will put a link down to his channel. But yeah, the guy does some insane rigs. Insane. And this is the man himself, Dave. Say hello to our viewers.
Hi viewers.
And so there will be a link to his own YouTube page down below. Really nice guy, and what he does with some of these scale rigs is absolutely insane. So there you go. And apparently that is the first footage we've seen of that truck. So there you go. There's a Reaper exclusive.
Not necessarily of the truck, but of
Of
the
it.
pull-out kitchen.
There you go. The pull-out
Even
kitchen
I
is
haven't
cool.
recorded that.
There we go. There
It's
you
a
go.
definite exclusive.
Dave, what are you doing here today? What's the vibe? You here for fun, or are you?
I'm always here for
I
fun.
know you're here for fun, but you know what I mean.
I'm going to take out my brand new build
Okay, he's definitely here for fun then.
on the boom racing scale rope.
And that's that bad boy there. You doing the 400 or the 500 with both? Squeezing both in?
No,
I think.
I know for a definite my trucks can only do that boom racing run.
Right.
Because I've tried previous years of any other and I can't. There's possibly 3 gates, even on the ale run, that my trucks can do.
Well, I'm a Scala National Virgin, so I haven't decided what I'm taking out yet. I've got 3
So
cars
as long
with
as
me.
you've got your orange one,
Yeah.
no problem.
Cool.
I've got no ground clearance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is my lightest chassis, but obviously with the high cap pickup,
Yep.
we took that out. This out with the high cap
Yeah.
110 yesterday, and for the first time at any RC event,
Yep.
I completed every single gate.
Right. Okay. Yep. With you. Yeah.
So now that's a big thumbs up from me. That if I can complete every gate
with a
with
Scala.
a stock chassis,
Yeah.
so a stock boom racing chassis.
Is that a BR? I presume that's an
BRX
O2.
02,
It's
yeah.
an O2. Yeah.
But obviously with the other trucks, so the BRX 02
Yep.
chopped in half,
Yes. Yeah.
60mm extension, custom rail added in,
Yeah.
and then custom clamp to bolt it all back together.
Yeah.
And then I use
Not even running a stock chassis. Oh mate, I can't get my head around that. I've just spotted actually. That is it's a Fallout inspired
It is indeed.
90 pickup. Love it. Oh, a massive
so
Fallout fan.
with regards to those, so 60mm added,
Yep.
and then I add an extra transfer case carrier,
Yep.
so that I can extend the range of the links. So I use now use the stock rear links.
Yep.
So Boom Racing have done the R&D.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried doing it different ways to start with,
Yeah.
by making my own links.
Yep.
Still at the length of what the stock ones are.
Yep.
So Edna has got straight custom links.
Yep. Edna, if you can see in the back,
Would be
it's the
That one.
furthest. This one here.
yeah. The furthest
I think I've got that there. Furthest to the right. That's Edna.
The 130 Overlander has Boom Racing rear links.
Yep.
So that's the high clearance
Yep.
link. Same as with the 6x6, that is all the stock 6x6 links and
Yep.
gearing and everything else, but
Yep.
obviously it's to a 130
Yep.
wheelbase,
Yep.
not a 6x6 wheelbase, which
Yep.
to me is a 110
Yeah.
with an extra axle.
Yeah,
Because
100
that's
agree.
how they do it.
100% agree, yeah.
The 130 pickup
Yep.
is actually the BRX range,
Oh, just trying to get that in
but
shot.
a Boom Racing
Yep.
chassis. That was the prototype chassis I used to get the measurements to do the BRX 02.
Yep. Got
Because
you.
I bought that as a full truck with a Team Raffi body on
Yep.
for 400 quid.
Yep. Okay.
Can't even buy a chassis for that.
No, you can't.
So
No,
I
you
bought-
can't.
And it had never been used.
Yep.
It sat in this bloke's cabinet as an exact replica of his real truck, of
Right.
which, for whatever reason, the real truck now didn't exist, so
Right.
therefore
Yep.
he didn't want to see it anymore.
That's fair enough.
So it went cheap.
I'm gonna say you did get that cheap because
Yeah.
you don't see Boom second hand anyway, really.
Well, I mean,
But-
no, I mean the BRX 02s you really don't see second hand.
No. No, they're
Because they work so well,
no one wants to get rid of them, and if they want to change, they just change the body.
and with the likes of the bodies, it doesn't matter whether you go a stock body that's painted and a few extras.
Yep.
You put everything into it.
Yeah.
And with being hard bodied or whatever, there's so much detail. People just don't want to go. But even with the likes of Pete,
Pete's is the lime green.
they're
Oh,
all Pete's.
They're all Pete's.
But even with this, technically, it's a stock body with just a little bit of weather in.
Yeah.
There's a few little accessories in,
Yeah.
but he's put a lot into it. So
He's put a hell of a lot into it. I was admiring the engine bay. Engine bay was earlier on in the. I'm on a bit of a funny angle, but I'm going to try and just give Pete's. That's got to be almost one of the first in the country, hasn't it? They've only just started shipping them.
don't know whether. Well, he would have had it before pre-shipment.
Uh,
I would have expected.
there we go. That's
I'm sure he
Pete's
did
line
put a
up.
video out, but
Yeah. So I'm doing this in selfie mode, so it's and my arm's starting to fall off.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna,
it's starting to shake now, innit?
yeah, I'm gonna put this down. Next, you'll see me on the trails. after finishing that little course. Tiny 4x4 open. And we've got a 500S with a working fifth wheel. It's proper scale, the battery box is where it needs to be and everything. Love that, absolutely love that. And here's the rest of the range.
in the room. Soon, one morning, death come creeping in the room. Death come creeping in the room, and I know that my time ain't long. Oh death, down that lonesome road. Death, oh death, yeah, down that lonesome road. Ooh.
from your heart, babe. Don't hide in fear. Beware of fool's gold, smoke and mirrors. Watch out for tricksters, the wolves in sheep's clothes, the rogue chameleons, restless ghosts. So take care of yourself and love fearlessly, and keep yourself in good company. Carnival barkers and old circus clowns, they summon dark forces, pull you underground. So beware, beware, babe, the mighty dollar's king. Its lies are everywhere, babe, behind everything. So take care of yourself and live gratefully, and keep yourself in good company, and keep yourself in good company. Your thoughts are waves in the mind's a sea, and surf the ones that carry you to good company. 'Cause bloodthirsty vampires and their scam artist cons, I won't give your moments back when they're gone. So take care of yourself and love fearlessly, keep yourself in good company. Take care of yourself and love fearlessly, keep yourself in good company. Keep yourself in good company.
Just give me a reason. If it's all the same, I declare it open season. You pick your weapon, and I'll pick mine. Then I suppose we'll love some other time. Love some other
folks, for a day that we didn't really plan until yesterday afternoon. That was epic. That was epic. We'll be coming back next year and probably camping and doing the 2 days. Yeah, absolute epic day. Trail's really good. Gates set out really well. You've seen the 400 and the Ale Trail, which is a 500 in this video. So yeah, you can easily lose 2 days here. So we'll definitely be coming back for UK Scalar Nationals for 2026. So on that note, folks,
Funduro in July.
we do. Yeah, there is going to be some pretty epic long-winded videos, so if you're not into them, you might want to avoid my videos for the next couple of weeks, because we are booked in for Superscale in Germany in June, and we are coming back to this venue for the Funduro in July. So if you like a long video, you're in for a treat. If you don't, I'd probably stick to some of the shorts I'm going to be sticking up. But aside from that, guys, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.